Today, you'll learn about the different factors contributing to anxiety in children. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Jinmee Graham, and I'm a naturopathic doctor dedicated to supporting the holistic health of children and families. Today, you'll learn about the different factors contributing to anxiety in children. In this video, we'll cover a holistic perspective, looking at the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual factors that may be contributing to anxiety in your child. We'll also cover some solutions at the end of the video. While some children naturally experience anxiety in different circumstances, such as fear of separation or new environments or social situations, from a holistic view, anxiety is typically a sign that something in that child's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual world is out of balance. So let's look at some of the physical health factors. This area encompasses the physical foundations of health, including diet, nutrition, hydration, sleep, and exercise. So if kids are lacking in certain nutrients, such as omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, B vitamins, and many others, these can affect brain development and therefore lead to or exacerbate anxiety in children. Additionally, diet plays such a key role, and if a children's diet primarily consists of processed foods or refined sugars, or they're consuming foods that they are personally intolerant or sensitive to, then these things will in turn affect the gut and GI tract and digestion, which also affects the rest of the body, including their brain and mood, and can also contribute to anxiety in your child. In our modern world, we are surrounded by technology and EMFs, electromagnetic fields, and children with their developing brains and nervous systems are more susceptible to the negative effects of EMFs, unfortunately. So it's something we just want to keep in mind. Also, these EMFs or exposure to technology can also disrupt sleep. And sleep, no matter how it's disrupted, is so crucial to your child's overall health, for them to repair and for them to be balanced in their health. So if they are not getting adequate sleep, or if their sleep cycles are off, then this can negatively impact their mood and anxiety and can prevent them from overcoming some of these challenges. Children thrive on routine. And when there's a lack of routine or structure, this can sometimes lead to uncertainty or insecurity in some children. Now, we also want to talk about environmental factors or environmental toxins specifically. So exposures to heavy metals, pesticides, or other household toxins, such as those found in our cleaning products or products that we put on our child's skin, or even scented fragrances such as candles or other sprays, all can contain hormone-disrupting chemicals, endocrine disruptors, and also negatively impact our child's nervous system and immune function. And all of these things can exacerbate anxiety in your child. This is largely due to the body's overburden of toxins. Now, at the level of the mind, our kids growing up naturally with technology can face information overload, which can lead to mental fatigue and overstimulation, which some kids are just way more susceptible and vulnerable to. Additionally, some kids can pick up on negative thought patterns, whether that's inside or outside of the home, or even something that they see in the media. So these can be rooted in fear or worry or catastrophizing, such as, what if something bad happens to me or my family? For example, sometimes all it takes is a particular scene in a scary TV show or a movie that may seem benign to us as adults, but can be really something difficult for that child to process. And then they ruminate on those thoughts and those feelings. And if they have nowhere for those feelings to go or to be properly processed, then that can contribute to more of those anxious types of patterns. Some kids are also just a little bit harder on themselves. They have higher standards for themselves or perfectionistic tendencies, or they are more sensitive to academic pressures or social comparison to their peers. So all of these things affect the growing child and what they are particularly sensitive to. Now, regarding emotional factors, we always want to consider family dynamics. Children are highly attuned to the emotional climate of their homes. So if there's any parental stress or parental conflict, our children really pick up on this, and it can affect them really deeply and manifest as anxiety. Some children also may have experienced separation anxiety when they were younger, not knowing if they would see their primary caregiver or parent. So this created feelings of anxiety or different patterns in their nervous system that are still affecting them later in childhood. This is not meant to cause any blame or judgment to any family. It is simply to promote some mindfulness about all of the different factors that can contribute to anxiety in your particular child. Some children also have difficulty articulating their feelings, which can lead to suppressed emotions, which then can manifest as anxiety. So as children are growing and developing, some of these emotions and experiences are very new to them, and they really need some support in processing them and working through these new experiences. We also always want to consider something called ACEs, which stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. So this can be anything from abuse, neglect, even experiencing their parents divorcing. All of these things experienced under the age of 18 count as ACEs. And studies show that in the United States, at least half of all children have experienced at least one ACE. And the more adverse childhood experiences a child has, the greater their risk for negative health outcomes later in life, whether they're physical health outcomes, mental or emotional, including, of course, anxiety. So regarding spiritual factors, many people look at spiritual health in different ways. For the purposes of this topic, I am going to cover our connection with nature and also inherited factors. So regarding nature, our separation or disconnection from nature can aggravate anxiety, especially in kids. We are meant to be one with nature, and we get so many healing properties from nature, such as generating vitamin D from our skin's exposure to sunlight, interacting with the fresh air, and also picking up negative ions from Earth's surface. So this last part is called grounding or earthing, or basically barefoot walking. And from daily life, we absorb a lot of positive ions, which act as free radicals in the body, damaging different cells and tissues. And if we don't have a balance of this can really wreak havoc and aggravate so many other areas of our life. Now, Earth's surface charge is naturally negative. It contains a negative charge. So when we put our bare feet on the grass, what we can do is absorb some of those negative ions, which help neutralize the positive ones and create more of a balance in our bodies and contribute to overall health and healing. Normally, we're walking outside with shoes on with thick rubber soles that block that natural connectivity. So the more children can be outside in their natural environment and playing and just being exposed to the outdoors, bare feet and all, the better it will be for their physical health, but also their mental, emotional health. And especially for kids with anxiety, the more they are outdoors and the less they're inside four man-made walls, the better. So for some children, the anxiety was inherited, whether genetically or epigenetically. So genetic inheritance happens through specific variations in genes that regulate neurotransmitters such as serotonin or dopamine, or genes that regulate the stress response and emotional regulation. Now, I always like to note and reiterate that genetics only accounts for 20% of our overall health outcomes. That means that the other 80% is largely in our control and due to environmental factors, such as some of the physical foundations of health we talked about earlier, our diet, our lifestyle, sleep, physical activity, stress, these different things. So we are not doomed by our genes. Now, epigenetics refers to the study of how cells control gene activity, such as the switching on or off of genes, without actually changing the DNA sequence. So it's largely environmental factors such as stress or trauma that can lead to these epigenetic changes. For example, when a woman experiences anxiety or stress herself during pregnancy or childbirth, this can alter fetal brain development, leading to a predisposition to anxiety in those children. One particular study looked at the offspring of Holocaust survivors, and what this study found was that parental exposure to stress and trauma increased the risk of their children developing PTSD or different mood disorders such as anxiety in their lives. Now, I want to end with some good news, starting with neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change, strengthen, and rewire connections, especially in response to learning, healing, or experience. Children's brains are highly adaptable, and even if they experienced stress or trauma, their brains have the ability to heal and rewire and rewrite connections to develop healthier mental and emotional patterns, especially with support. One beautiful way to do this is through connection with you their parent. Children thrive on that connection. So through responsive parenting and attachment-based parenting and our empathy and attention and emotional presence, this can really support a child to help develop new thought patterns and emotional patterns as well, helping to reduce anxiety and change the trajectory of their overall health. For younger children, play therapy can be very effective, such as drawing or other forms of art therapy, storytelling, or creative play. For example, telling a story of another character who is facing very similar challenges to your child, and then also going through the range of emotions that the main character is experiencing, while also trying different techniques that the main character uses to overcome those challenges, can really be a supportive way for the child to put him or herself into that protagonist's shoes and come up with different ways to solve their own problems or to overcome certain challenges and also empathize with the main character. For older children, mindfulness-based practices such as deep breathing or guided meditation or mindful movement can all lead to more emotional awareness and calm the nervous system, allowing them to better regulate anxiety in different situations. So of course, with all of these recommendations, you want to tailor them to your unique child. Something that might work for one child might not mesh with your child. So you want to meet them where they are and try different things and see what resonates with them and go from there. Physical activities such as yoga, tai chi, sports, or outdoor play can all be really supportive in regulating anxiety. This occurs due to lowering cortisol and increasing mood-boosting endorphins. And of course, you get bonus points if you do this physical activity outside, as now the child is getting double the benefits. Regarding diet and nutrition, a whole foods diet consisting of minimally processed foods or refined sugars or chemical additives or dyes can really support a child's physical but also mental and emotional health as well. Additionally, cutting out any of your child's specific food sensitivities or intolerances will support not only their gut health, but their overall health and also mood balancing as well. Now, I always like to include that there are some beautiful natural therapeutics that can be greatly supportive for the anxious child as long as it's tailored to your child individually, such as homeopathy, flower essences, emotional freedom technique or EFT, also known as tapping, or other gentle physical therapies such as craniosacral therapy or Reiki, and many others that your child may really benefit from and resonate with. Lastly, I don't want to discount the importance of parental self-care. When parents heal, their children heal as well. We already know that children are deeply affected by the emotional state of their parents. So when parents are engaging in their own health practices, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, this leads to their overall balance, which in turn supports and affects their child positively. Caring for your own holistic health also allows you to show up more fully for your child and reduce any transfer of stress or anxiety to them. Through the combination of neuroplasticity, mindful parenting, and dietary and lifestyle adjustments, you can create a balanced environment for your child to heal, grow, and thrive holistically. If you like this video, stay tuned for more content supporting the holistic health of children and families.